Hello and welcome back. My name is Jack B, and as always, thank you for watching my videos. This episode will cover a larger view of the environmental impact we're causing. I recorded this episode several times. The first time I realized that it contained too much information to be crammed into one long video. Therefore, I split it into two parts. Then while I was researching other versions of this video, I realized that it could appear to be too much doom and gloom. While the consequences of our actions with no correction could be quite dire, I believe we can mitigate pollution and improve our environment for healthy living. Our approach should be positive with respect to proactive thinking and action. While I was researching information for previous videos, I was reminded of the sincere concern and productivity of young people for the environment in the 1960s and 70s. I'm not sure what's happened, but I rarely see any news or activity on this front, not in the news or in political verbiage. Thus, this episode. The more I researched the topic, the more I became aware of the fact that almost all products consumers purchase has a trail of pollution in one form or another. We can analyze the content of our product's pollution level based on its life cycle. As mentioned in a previous video, all products have life cycles. They're divided into stages. It's possible to look at each stage and then create a mitigation plan to reduce the pollution level at that stage as much as possible. And key stages of pollution are mining, extracting the raw material from the ore, manufacturing the components, assembly and testing the product, and then the end of its life cycle. The disposal of the toxic material and e-waste. At each stage, there's a pollution created and spread to humans, but we're not immediately aware of this fact. It's not in the forefront of our minds. We are always bombarded and distracted by the continual marketing of new flasher products, such as when the new 40th version of the same phone is expected to come out. Or when manufacturers and the government are pushing people to buy an electric vehicle, which is a highly unsafe product that leaves not only a trail of pollution, but the potential of a lithium battery fire in your garage while you're sleeping. And of course, the future experience of disposal pollution. Something to look forward to. I'm going to touch upon as many different types of products as possible across the spectrum of our product line, as briefly as possible, to demonstrate the widespread pollution and distribution in products that affect humans and their health and the ecosystem. I'll cover more than just the one or two pollution topics that the government is tripping over in an effort to appear to care, and more than the topics selected by corporations, which ultimately lead to a bigger profit for them. It will be the larger view of the ecosystem as affected by humans. The fashionable eco topic, FET, today is global warming, emissions of fossil fuels. And while there is a pollution factor with respect to this topic, it is not the worst pollution out there. I believe it's meant to be a big hype and distraction, so corporations can push EVs and make huge profits. It doesn't matter to the pushers that most people can't afford EVs. The government's pushing EVs at the request of corporations, special interest groups, politicians, and other people who want to appear eco-savvy. The people who will profit push the idea that global warming is the end of the world. The reality is that global warming is not an extinction level event for humans. It will certainly adversely affect humans and make life difficult. Hominins have been around since 7 million years BC. Homo genus appeared 1.5 to 2 million years BC. And modern humans have been around since 190,000 years BC. In addition, humans are expected to be around another 1.3 billion years. The Earth's climate has changed every 100,000 years over the last 1 million years. The temperature has risen and fallen 5 degrees Celsius during these cycles. Granted, humans have had an impact on these current temperatures, but again, it is not an extinction level event for humans. I am not saying that it's not a problem. I am, however, suggesting there may be more things that will cause more harm and dire consequences to the human race. My belief is that the biggest threat to humans and their health is man-made pollution in the water, soil, and air. This is the topic from which corporations want to distract us. This is my belief because to mitigate and stop this pollution would cut deeply in their profit margins. Almost all products humans use have a toxic footprint. This includes cars, plastics, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, appliances, all electronics, power, and even in the food we eat. Everything we consume has pollution in each stage of its life cycle. As a note, we really ought to look for something other than lithium batteries for propulsion, such as the use of clean hydrogen. If we prepare and implement mitigation plans to reduce pollution at each stage of its life cycle, then the effects that humans have on the environment and the ecosystem will be significantly reduced. But this comes at a cost to both consumers and corporations. Consumers may pay a little more, certainly not as much as the increase in cost for EVs, and corporations will have to settle for a little bit less in their profit margins. Otherwise, I believe pollution will be the extinction level event for humans. This is an election year, and I'm not hearing any conversations on toxic pollution in our ecosystem, just the same old verbiage. But even if this weren't an election year, there should be coverage on the topic of pollution in our environment and its health effects to humans. The only topic I periodically hear about is global warming. Everyone jumps on this bandwagon as if it's a status symbol for their environmental savvy. There's a previous episode of this series which dissects whether the EV is eco-friendly or not. Since global warming is off the table for an extinction level event, I wonder what pollution source or type will cause the most harm to humans. Will it be the nanoplastics in our bloodstream, which settle in and build up on the naturally forming plaque in our bloodstream and cause heart attacks and strokes? Will it be inhalation of pollutants causing respiratory harm and health? Will it be drinking the water that is polluted causing harm and health? Will it be eating the food that contains pollutants causing harm and health? Or will it be just coming into skin contact with some toxins causing harm and health issues? An example of this type of contact toxin is thallium, which is widely used in electronics and optical industries. Then there are the PFAs. This is a group of nearly 15,000 chemicals used in consumer products, including makeup, and it's also used in the industry since 1940s. One thing for sure is that healthcare will be a booming business, profits to be made for all. I suspect big business and politicians are creating all the distractions and disruptions for a reason, and that is so they can make more money from many different sources. I even suspect that billionaire owners of news outlets are also allowing the distractions and disruptions for personal gain. After all, pollution in the environment is not sexy or dramatic to anyone. Maybe the question is not whether pollution will destroy all humans on Earth, but when. There's probably a bookie in Vegas giving odds on all this just to make money. There is pollution in everything. While it may not be intentional, humans do create pollution, and it's destroying the ecosystem in everything they do. Manufacturing, farming, and all they consume. And in everything they think they need in life. All aspects or stages of manufacturing for any product has a high degree of pollution in the product's life cycle. This includes particulates that are toxic. Please, don't just take my word for this information in this video. Verify this information. This episode is meant to be an awareness experience to provide food for thought and research. And until next time, take care and be safe. Bye.